Wind Waker, like most Zelda games, has a very long history of glitches discovered since the game's creation, some of which you may be familiar with. Barrier skip, storage, bomb push clipping, manual super swimming, maybe even item sliding. But there's one that I promise, unless you are deeply ingrained in the Wind Waker community, you have never heard of. File item transfer. This glitch, discovered back in 2018 by the Legend of Link, and developed by Retire, Azer67, and me, back in 2018, seemed like it could have massive potential in reshaping Wind Waker speedruns. At the time, both Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD were massively different speedruns from the ones you'll find today. Wind Waker HD just had its barrier skip discovery that previous year, and Wind Waker was still years out from having a route shift from what is now known as PST. At this point in time, glitch hunting for Wind Waker HD was probably at an all-time high. Now that we have the ability to skip the barrier, the community had its sights on being able to skip the other required items in the game. It was at this point that Legend of Link was messing around with the Ganon's Tower boss trials. He save warped, and he had his inventory completely wiped. This was strange, to say the least. The boss trials are supposed to give you the inventory you had when you fight them in their respective dungeons, then give you your inventory back afterwards. After messing with this glitch further, Legend of Link somehow managed to transfer items from one save file to another. Once again, this behavior made no sense to us at the time, and was strangely very difficult to replicate. This is where Azer67, Retire, and me came into play. Through a couple days of trying to find out the cause of this glitch, this happened.
Oh my god! It worked! It worked! It worked! It worked! I was right! I was right! I was right! I was right! It works for 90%.
But how does it actually work? And what are its implications? Don't forget to subscribe, and let's talk about file item transfer. File item transfer is a glitch that is found in both the Wind Waker and its remake, the Wind Waker HD, which is where it was originally discovered. This glitch works using a portion of the game that is rarely seen in glitched Wind Waker speedruns, the endgame boss trials. The boss trials serve as the first of the final challenges of the game before fighting Ganondorf. Traditionally, speedrunners just perform a roll clip and leave past the door, known as trial skip. These trials contain 4 refights of the bosses from earlier in the game: Goma, Kalidimos, Jalhalla, and Mulgara. Entering these boss refights will swap out your inventory for the inventory you had when you first fought these bosses. To do this, the game will write your current inventory to somewhere in memory in order to give you your items back upon completing the boss refight. However, this functionality is bugged. When the game goes to write this inventory, it does so by looking for the first item in your inventory, the telescope. An item that you get in the very beginning of the game, that can coincidentally be skipped through the use of the manual super swim glitch. If you skip the telescope and attempt to enter a trial, the game fails to fulfill the functionality, and your inventory is not reset when entering the boss refight. This puts the trial into a glitch state, and when leaving the trial, the game has no saved inventory to restore you to, so your inventory will be completely empty. This spot in memory that the game uses to save Link's inventory is actually shared between files, and not reset when resetting the game. This means if we have a file with a normal trial, enter it, then quit to the title screen, we can enter the glitch trial on our other file. If we then leave that trial, the setup file's inventory will overwrite the other file. This allows us to transfer any set of items we would like from one file to another. This can allow us to get items early, allowing us to do things like skip the Morph Hover by transferring a hookshot. That is, if it was allowed. The problem with the practicality of using this glitch in a speedrun is its legality. Wind Waker, like other games, bans the use of using pre-made files during a speedrun. This means that in the current main categories for Wind Waker and Wind Waker HD, file item transfer is nowhere to be found. Theoretically, however, if you were to create the setup file with the timer running, it would be legal in a speedrun. However, if we're going to collect these items anyways, there's no real reason to perform file item transfer in the first place. The only practical use that this glitch could even possibly have is mass duplicating rupees by transferring from a copied file. However, due to the immense setup time that this would require, it is much slower than other known methods to dupe rupees. That being said, however, let's take a look at a speedrun where this trick is actually utilized. 100% no source requirement in the Wind Waker HD is one of the only Wind Waker speedruns that allows this glitch. Source requirement is a common rule in Zelda 100% speedruns, where the items that are acquired throughout the run must be acquired from their proper locations. This rule exists to protect the spirit of 100%, banning duping and, of course, file item transfer. In the Wind Waker HD no source requirement, the majority of the items are acquired through file item transfer, through the use of a pre-made file. as well as performing another glitch in order to duplicate pieces of heart to fulfill the 100% requirements. The use of file item transfer in combination with duping in this run saves close to an hour, and the run has not seen any activity in 2 years. So, truthfully, the full potential of no source requirement has yet to be seen. So who's to say how much it truly saves? But I know what you're all really thinking. What would any percent look like if you could transfer items from one file to another? The answer to this is actually kind of interesting. See, back when this glitch was first discovered, we acquired 5 main items. The grappling hook to perform the item slide glitch, the leaf to acquire magic in order to use light arrows in the final boss, the bombs in order to take damage in order to perform Morth Hover and skip the hookshot, the quiver in order to shoot arrows, and as previously stated, the light arrows, which are required to defeat Puppet Ganon. The light arrows are actually acquired automatically when entering the Puppet Ganon cutscene. However, the rest of these items require fairly long detours. Through the use of file item transfer, we can transfer over the grappling hook, light arrows, and leaf. However, we need to item slide, and in extension, we need the grappling hook, in order to quickly get down to the Trials fight. Additionally, transferring over the leaf will not transfer magic, meaning that the route must take a detour to the overworld in order to acquire the double magic. We can, however, skip the bombs by transferring the hookshot. Even still though, this route was far from being fast. Even at the time, and even future revisions failed to decrease the gap from the regular any percent route. That being said though, this was actually a really cool any percent route at its inception. Despite it essentially being just a slower version of the any percent route, it still got some attention from a couple members of the community, and even fostered a bit of a racing scene at the time. However, since then, there has been relatively little to no interest in speedruns involving file item transfer. In fact, if you were to visit both the main leaderboards or the extension leaderboards, you would see absolutely zero mention of any file item transfer categories, outside of no source requirement. It is a bit crazy to see a glitch that was once thought to be one of the potential biggest discoveries in the game at the time, end up as essentially another footnote of the long page of Wind Waker speedrunning history. The game has changed substantially since this era in speedrunning, and I'd highly recommend checking out some of the speedrunners for both the original as well as the remake. I've left a link to a few of them down in the description below, but you can also check out the Twitch directory for either of the games and check out some people I might have missed. As doubtful as I am, I hope there's some potential use for the weird properties of glitch trials and file item transfer in the future. But, until then, this has been Jake, and thanks for watching. If you'd like to see some other videos on Zelda speedrunning, click on one of the videos on screen now. And if you'd like to see some Zelda speedruns live, pop out to the Twitch. The link is in the description below.
Hi, my name's Jaffe or Jake, and this is my fit tutorial. I'm going to be going over the new file item transfer glitch